It's okay. It's part of the game.
It's not.
It
It's not fun.
It's not fun to what?
It's the worst part of the game.
Oh, it's what?
Taxes.
Hello, and welcome to the Office of the Patriot. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back, and thank you for your continued viewership. It is appreciated. My name is Myron Ybarra, and I am your host. Today's discussion is about taxes, and more specifically, federal income tax. I hear time and again, especially since we're nearing a midterm election cycle, that our tax system needs to be revamped, and we should move to a flat tax rate for calculating income tax. The primary argument for this is that everyone will pay the exact same rate, so there won't be any loopholes for certain groups to exploit to minimize their tax burden, and it'll be much easier for the average American to calculate the income tax they owe. So I don't string you along making you wait until the middle of this presentation to give you my stance on this. I absolutely disagree with replacing the current tax system with a flat tax. But first, let's talk about the different types or classes of taxes that are levied upon us by our government. And this is a small list. This will put into perspective how intrusive our government has become when it comes to collecting taxes and the mechanisms that it currently employs to that end. The first class of taxes that are levied upon us are taxes on what you buy. And these would include things like taxes between businesses, also known as gross receipt taxes, excise taxes, which are used to change public behavior, like taxes on alcohol or cigarettes, and then sales taxes, which are imposed on the consumer at the final sale for goods and services. The next class of tax is taxes on what you own. And these would include property taxes, which are taxes on real property like land, personal property, like cars and office equipment. Estate taxes, which are taxes that are levied on new owners when property is transferred to family members upon the original owner's death. And wealth taxes, which are taxes that are imposed when assets such as stocks and or property are converted to capital, such as capital gain taxes. And the last class of tax is taxes on what a person earns. And these include corporate income taxes, which are taxes that are imposed on businesses for the profits they earn. Payroll taxes, which are taxes that are paid by the workers through business for government subsidized assets like Social Security and unemployment insurance. And finally, the last and most troublesome type of tax on what a person earns is individual income tax, which are taxes that are applied to wages and salaries, as well as business income from sole proprietorships and limited liability corporations, also known as LLCs. And while this list is far from complete, it does give you an idea on how invasive our government has become when it comes to the transfer of money from one person to another for the purposes of settling debt. And I do mean invasive. The 16th Amendment to the United States Constitution established the government's right to impose a federal income tax. And at that time, that tax was a flat 3% on all income over $800. This amount has increased massively throughout the years to a point where it's become a major consideration for virtually every wage earner in the United States. And that's where my position on doing away with a graduated income tax system and moving to a VAT, otherwise known as a value-added tax. A VAT is nothing more than sales tax with a fancy name. So why do I subscribe to a VAT as opposed to the current tax system or even a flat tax? Well, the reason is multifold. First, and in my opinion, one of the most important, one of the largest curators of private and financial information on every U.S. citizen is the Internal Revenue Service, also known as the IRS. And in my humble opinion, this poses the largest violation of individual privacy against government intrusion to every American. By moving away from taxing our income and moving towards taxing our spending, the government will have no need for monitoring or oversight of individual earnings, and as a result, no need to monitor earned income. This is because point-of-sale transaction, like sales tax, between the consumer and the business will be where taxes are collected. And who will collect these taxes? Businesses will. And as such, government can track them as opposed to individual U.S. citizens. Plus, It will be significantly easier and require less resources for the IRS to accomplish this. And as an added bonus, the 8,400 plus new IRS agent Gestapos that Biden has hired won't be required now. Thank you very much. And that saves the U.S. taxpayer a significant amount of money. Next, there will be no way to avoid paying what Biden and all other Democrats call your fair share of taxes. Everyone in the United States is a consumer, and more to the point, our entire society is based on consumerism. Depending on what source you use, there's between 47 and 61% of Americans that don't pay income tax. And the reasons are varied, but some of them include the tax rate, earning status, and just a plain old failure to file. This is part of the reason why our tax rate is set at the current amounts. We're just not generating enough income with the people who are paying, or rather the people who owe. By moving away from an income tax into a VAT, every business will collect tax. From the kid running down the street to catch the ice cream man, to the multimillionaire who's buying his third Bugatti because he wants to have the newest, coolest color. Under the table earnings will be significantly more difficult to hide in that more resources from the IRS can be used to enforce proper tax collection by businesses. And finally, given that more people will be paying into the tax system, the percentage rate will be significantly reduced from the current graduated rates that are used to calculate income taxes today. Now, I know some of you may be hesitant because of state and local sales taxes that are currently imposed on point-of-sale transactions and, more recently, internet transactions. However, most people will see an average of $400 to $600 per month in additional net income. And as a result of that's the result of doing away with income tax. This additional income or liquid income can be used to fund, say, schooling, or it can move you out of your current home into a nicer one, or maybe allow you to take the vacation you and your family always wanted to. You also have the option of saving or maybe investing the difference by not changing your current lifestyle, which will also spur market growth. Will goods and services be more expensive as a result of this? Sure. But as a consumer, you will now control the amount of taxes you contribute based on what you're willing to spend. And to help individual families that are low income, I would suggest commodities such as utilities, fuel, food, and primary housing can and should be taxed at a lower rate. This benefits everyone and not just specific groups. The current tax system is a hot mess right now. With inflation at our doorstep, the dollar is declining in real value. Steps need to be taken today to combat this before our entire economy collapses due to overregulation and reckless spending by our government. Moving from a graduated income tax to a VAT would be one step towards fixing this economy. In my humble opinion, the VAT is probably the most equitable method of taxation. And if Democrats truly believed in equity, Congress would be setting up a committee to move us in that direction today. Well, that's all I have. I pray you enjoyed this presentation, and if so, please take the time to subscribe, smash the like button, and share my channel on your social media. It's always appreciated. And as always, have a great day and stay safe out there.